chin. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Good morning. Yeah, there we are. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing We Would Be One, which was written in 1953 for our Unitarian Universalist Liberal Religious Youth Conference by Minister Samuel Anthony Wright to encourage a shared vision of unity and service as our Unitarian and Universalist faiths were merging. Well done, you. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding.
Welcome to Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Rodney Lemery. My pronouns are he and him, and we are really glad that you are here. We gather as Unitarian Universalists, which means we may not all be worshiping the same deity if we worship one at all. But I believe in this space, especially on Sunday mornings, we are all here to worship the possibility of humanity. We gather on Sunday mornings, strangers and beloveds, regulars and first-timers, as we practice together the kind of world that we believe is possible, even if it is just for about an hour. It's a little more than an hour. We are literally focusing our hearts and attention on the things that we believe are worthy of our care in the greater world. So maybe it was habit or hope that brought you here today, a little bit of heartbreak, or that person sitting next to you who just won't say no or take no for an answer. Whatever it was, we are so glad that you're here in the sanctuary, in Borton Hall, outside, or in your own living room. We are glad. So for those of you who are joining us online, please join our virtual coffee hour, which was held after the service for 15 minutes. You can say hello to people virtually that you've been chatting with in YouTube. If you are visiting either in person or online, please fill out a visitor's card so that we can keep you informed of all of the various things happening in our congregation. If you need a listening ear, we have pastoral listeners here on campus. You'll see them at the water column during the offertory. That way you know who they are. We are a busy congregation trying to live our mission and UU values out loud, so I just want to share a couple of things happening here and in the community that may be of interest. Today, after church, please join us for Justice Sunday, where we are blessed to have the son of Susie Simons, his name's Johnny, and his incredible partner, Rashad, joining us to view the amazing film Assembly, and then participating in a Q&A after. We are also serving lunch, so please stop by for your beans and rice. It's Cuban style. Thank you, Thomas. He's still cooking. And then on Saturday and Sunday, August 1st and 2nd, we are hosting the Firefly Conference on campus for groups of trans families. This is a bunch of trans activists and healthcare providers who are going to be giving seminars and trans-affirming activities like trans-affirming haircuts and makeovers. So it's a wonderful way to exchange information about the trans community and just be in community together. So please check out the Justice email or our website to register for that amazing event. And I also wanted to lift up that our very own Janet Hoy will be at the Walnut Creek Library on Sunday, August 8th, as part of the League of Women Voters, doing an educational symposia on the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the 19th Amendment, and everything in between. So please make sure that you stop by to learn and give her a big shout out. That'll be from 3 to 4:30 at the Walnut Creek Library. And thank you and welcome to our beloved community.
Good morning. Get myself situated here. My name is Andy Smith, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. We begin our services by reading our mission. You'll find the words on the screen. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. We want you to be part of us. If you're here with us in person, feel free to join us in Borton Hall after service to meet folks that you know and those who you want to meet. We also have an online coffee hour right after the service, although sadly that one is BYOC. And those are the people who've had their C so far this morning. The rest of you, make sure to show up after service in Borton Hall for some coffee. We have much happening in this congregation, so please sign up for our email blasts. Let me say that differently. We have much happening in this congregation, so please sign up for our email blasts and monthly newsletter, or visit us at the easy-to-remember MDUUC.org to see our calendar. Also, if you didn't get a chance to place a memory for our intern Aiden into his memory journal, today is your last chance. His memory book will be at the signing table in Borton Hall after the service, and if you think it's a little awkward to be saying this with him kind of right behind you, you're right. I will note, I believe today is your last day with us here, and as per UUA policy, there'll be a communications blockade for a year, so get your Aiden fixed today while you can. So I've taken enough of your time already, so I want to thank you for all of your participation in this community and welcome. It's good to be together.
In the spirit of today's service, which is entitled A Theology of Small Things, when you greet one another, I encourage you to ask, what is a small thing that's bringing you joy?
The words to this next song are on the screen, and it's very challenging because the words are, change is coming, what do we need to imagine? And that's it. Change is coming, what do we need to imagine? Change is coming, what do we need to imagine? Feel it. Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine?
Our chalice lighting words today come from the words of Shari Woodbury. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life.
Good morning. Today's story is called The Little Seed. Once upon a time, in a cozy garden nestled between rolling hills, there lived a little seed named Sprout. Sprout lived at the edge of the garden where the sun's rays kissed the earth and the gentle breeze whispered through the leaves. One morning, as Sprout basked in the warmth of the sun, a caterpillar inched by and said, "Hello, little seed. Would it be all right if I sit with you for a while?" "Oh, of course, caterpillar," the little seed replied. The caterpillar sidled up next to the little seed and stared off into the distance. "What's on your mind, caterpillar?" the little seed asked. "I've been thinking about religion and faith and what I should believe in." "Wow, that's a big topic for so early in the morning," the little seed replied with a chuckle. "I'm not religious, so I don't pay a lot of attention to faith. I figure, what's the point? I don't believe in God." "Well, there's more to faith than whether or not you believe in God," the caterpillar said. "That may be true, but still, I feel like religion is so complicated, I wouldn't even know where to start," the little seed said. "Well, what do you believe in?" the caterpillar asked. Sprout felt surprised. No one had ever asked them that question before. "Well, I believe in growing strong and reaching for the sky," Sprout replied. The caterpillar chuckled softly. "That's a wonderful belief, Sprout, but there's more to faith than just growing tall. Faith is about trusting in something greater than yourself, something that gives you strength and guidance." Puzzled, Sprout pondered these words. "But what can I trust in?" Sprout asked. The caterpillar replied, "You can trust in the earth that cradles your roots, the sun that warms your leaves, and the rain that quenches your thirst. You can trust in the cycle of life that brings new beginnings and the power of resilience that helps you overcome challenges." As Sprout listened, a feeling of warmth and comfort spread through their tiny little roots. "I understand now," Sprout said softly. "Faith is not just about religion or spirituality or believing in God. It's about finding anchors that we can trust to support us no matter what changes may come." "Yes, that's it," said the caterpillar with glee. From that day on, Sprout nurtured their faith in the earth, in the sun, the rain, and the cycle of life. And as they grew into a strong and vibrant plant, they shared their newfound understanding with all of the other seeds in the garden, helping them discover their own anchors of accessible faith. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite you to join us in singing our children and youth to their activities.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your hearts know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace, as you go your way in peace.
Good morning. My name is Chris. My pronouns are they and them, and I am a pagan priest. I have a story I want to share with you today. Because we live in a world with such significant problems, such power differentials, such inequality, overwhelming hoarding of power, I think many of us see the sheer enormity of what we're up against and labor under the assumptions our efforts will be lost if they're not bold and dramatic and sweeping, an instant revolution. And with no small amount of blame to media, I think many of us imagine ourselves perhaps speaking in front of an angry crowd of the proletariat to a swell of music and making a real difference. not incremental, not harm reduction, no half measures, and no compromise. Certainly no long months and years of winning hearts and minds. We're going to set the world on fire, or what is even the point? I'd like to offer a slightly different perspective. These grand gesture moments, as important as they can be for history, where someone throws a brick or makes a speech or otherwise changes the river of history, they don't happen in a vacuum. They're virtually impossible to engineer, and they only spark when the cultural zeitgeist is ready. People throw heavy things at authority figures every day. Millions of people make speeches every day. But if the moment is not fecund, it passes unremarkably. Now, before I get to my story, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that being a pagan can be unfamiliar territory to a lot of people in North America. I'm going to talk about conversations I've had with something I have no real evidence exists. I can't speak to every type of woo-woo belief, but many pagans have conversations with plants, spirits, ancestors, and of course deities. All sorts of things that have no ability to create measurable sound waves, yet we talk to them as a matter of course. I was 45 years an atheist before a prehistoric Irish deity I had never even heard of began to invade my dreams. So my toolbox is one of a rational skeptic, and I get it, it's a little weird. But I can code switch to atheist. So if it helps you to imagine that I'm having a deep conversation with myself and a psychological archetype deep-seated within me, you do you. And in Judeo-Christian and Islamic tradition, there's prayer, but not really conversations. Yet, among pagans, being quiet enough to hear the things outside of us and discernment enough to know that those aren't just voices in our heads is something we work on. In 2020, I did my due diligence when I figured out what was trying to talk to me in my dreams. Online research, books, asked around to find good sources. The Morrigan is a shape-shifting goddess of battle and prophecy and magic and sovereignty. Even though in modernity, those battles often have different modalities than like cattle raids. Her followers today are liberation activists, writers, and warriors of the social justice variety instead of the violent kind. And sovereignty tends to map more across self-determination, self-identity, body autonomy, and equity of opportunity than like who's king of Ireland. Still, I didn't expect my first task to feel so small. I imagined, like, the Lord of the Rings, Sauron talking to Saruman through the little ball. I was like, what do you want? Build me an army worthy of my majesty. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna make a real difference. I would strike right at the heart of inequality. Drink more water, a lot more. I'm sorry, what? A prehistoric goddess of battle did not reach across the not insignificant chasm of my ability to skeptically rationalize anything to call upon some yank atheist and tell them to drink water. But you know what, okay. And then I got my second assignment. This was it. This was gonna be real. Start making your bed in the morning before you do anything else. What? This is what I get for putting 45 years of atheism on pause. But I did that too. And after a week, I started to notice something. It was a little bit like having the first item on your to-do list be make a to-do list. You get to cross that off before you do anything. It started the day off right. It got me going. I noticed I felt accomplished before anything else even happened. My third assignment, still no armies, it was to notice something beautiful or wonderful in the world. This completely butt-kicking deity of battle and prophecy who will tell you exactly what you can do with your toxic positivity, and that you better go change the world instead of living, laughing, and loving about it, wanted me to have a gratitude practice. And it went on like that. Exercise, organizing my calendar, reaching out every day to someone I hadn't talked to in a while. not the stuff of revolutions. Shortly after she came to me, I entered and remained suspended within something that is sometimes called the long, dark night of the soul. 5 years, back to back, that were the worst of my life. A miscarriage, cancer, very, very invasive abdominal surgery, anxiety, depression, having the closest thing I had to a child move across the world, the brutal killing in a bank robbery of one of my partner's friends and boss, end-stage liver disease, medical trauma, a car accident, a nasty eviction so that our home could be flipped, a return of my nesting partner's endometriosis, divorce, another surgery. And all these existential crises are happening to the backdrop of completely losing, and mind my words here, my faith in atheism. I get it. My whole world was upside down. Some people have crises of faith. I had a crisis of skepticism. Let me share one thing with you, though. When I got to the emergency room after a very dramatic symptom of end-stage liver disease, I won't go into the exorcist-level horrors here, but if you know, you know. They told me how close I came to dying. If my blood pressure had been any lower, I wouldn't be standing here today telling you all about it. They told me I should not have woken up from passing out, and definitely not been able to get myself to the ER with as much blood as I lost. My blood volume must have been very good to begin with. Probably from proper hydration. Liver disease, as it turns out, is profoundly helpful by staying hydrated. It balances salt, which is probably the biggest no-no next to alcohol. Staying hydrated is a habit I established 5 years ago, and I've been able to hold steady at my current decent health for 3 years, while the average person with liver disease has a transplant after 2. And some days, I made bed and forcing myself to really see something wonderful in the world was just about the only thing that kept me going. And sure enough, 2023, 3 years after this list of tasks, Psychology Today released a study on the healing power of awe, that's AWE, and its significant positive impacts on the medical outcomes of illness and injury by stimulating immune support and the vagus nerve. Movement, gratitude, social connection, all keys to happiness. I wasn't always happy in those 5 years, but the practice helped get me through. And the water. And even making the bed sometimes was the only good thing that happened to me in a terrible day. It's not an exaggeration to say all these little things, they saved my life. And who knows what happens when I'm in the world instead of not in the world? Who knows what ripples out from me today, tomorrow, next week, because I'm alive? Does something I've written touch a parent who teaches their child that lesson, and then that child goes on to help the liberation movement achieve something significant? If so, I want you to consider that was all made possible by more water. So much in this world can seem so broken. Social justice, economic justice, environmental justice. It's easy to look around and see the dumpster fire and lose hope, and it can absolutely feel like nothing short of tremendous gestures could ever possibly count. But it does. It all does. For every fiery orator who stood before a crowd and changed the world, there was a cultural scaffolding built from kindness and community and mutual aid and even self-care. These moments, these billions of moments that formed that base, to put the right person in the right moment, can seem unimaginably trivial. They can feel insufficient and tedious, but we can't fall into the trap of thinking we have to go big or go home. That's a colonialist vision of revolution, and those who have had to revolt for decades and centuries know the real change comes from an unrelenting confrontation of the truth of inequality to those in power. It isn't flashy, there's no Oscar-winning score, nobody cheers. But it matters. All these moments of kindness and aid and community and self-love, they all matter. All the little things form a tapestry that pushes the lines of who we are. Every single one of them matters. So drink some water and, maybe make your bed.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Pick a harmony anywhere you want. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall learn to lead in love.
Now is the time in our service where we come together to bear witness to those joys and sorrows that are too great for any one of us to hold alone. If you've written in our book of joys and sorrows today, please come forward to light a candle as I read your entry. Kevin Shea is writing, yesterday Heather and I celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary. We saw a movie, ate a sushi buffet, and split a beer. And I'm going to ask Aiden to light a special candle for me and probably everyone else. Just a reminder for this world that we are in and all of the positive things that hopefully will happen, even if it is just small things. And now let's light our two final candles. The first that represents all the joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts, but are still held in our community. And the last, a candle for this precious and broken world that we are all a part of.
Meditation song is a South African anti-apartheid movement song which was used to learn the names of political prisoners as they walked into court or prison. Spanish translations have been provided by LA-based composer David Garcia Saldana at the request of MDUUC. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together. Animo, mi alma, y así caminaré siempre junto a ti, y así yo creceré. Courage, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. La libertad, mi alma, y así yo rezaré, oraré junto a ti, y así yo viviré. Freedom, my friend, you do not pray alone. We will pray with you and sing your spirit home. Animo, mi alma, y así caminaré siempre junto a ti, y así yo creceré.
I wanted to share one of my favorite poems. It's a poem about nurturance and connection. I read it before the first ever sermon I gave, which was on masculinity. It's about fathers, and it felt like a good complement to my sermon that I'll be giving in a few minutes, which is about my grandmother. So it wasn't what I originally planned to read, but inspiration struck, and I wanted to share this very personal poem with you. So please enjoy Coniferous Fathers by Michael Kleber Diggs. Let us fashion gentle fathers, expressive, holding us how we wanted to be held before we could ask, singing off-key lullabies written for us, songs every evening like possibilities. Fathers who say, this is how you hold a baby, but never mention a football. Say nothing in that moment, just bring us to their chests naturally, without shyness. Let's grow fathers from pine, not oak, coniferous fathers raising us in their shade, fathers soft enough to bend, fathers who love us like their fathers couldn't. Fathers who can talk about menstruation while playing a game of pepper in the front yard. No, take baseball out. Let's discover a new sort. Fathers as varied and vast as the superior forest. Let's kill off sternness and downplay wisdom. Give us fathers of laughter and fathers who cry. Fathers who say, check this out, or I'm scared, or I'm sorry, or I don't know. Give us fathers strong enough to admit they want to be near us. They've always wanted to be near us. Give us fathers desperate for something different. Not Johnny Appleseed, not even Atticus Finch. No more Rolling Stones. No more lazy boy dads reading newspapers in some other room. Let's create folklore side by side in a garden, singing psalms about abiding. Just that, abiding. Being steadfast, present, evergreen, and ethereal. Let's make the old needles soft enough for us to rest on, dream on, next to them.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sowed. Someone warmed them from below till the rains came tumbling down. Pulling weeds, picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. An old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sowed. Someone warmed them from below till the rains came tumbling down.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, I'm Chris Carter. Pronouns are he, him, his. I serve on your Board of Trustees, and I also serve as the congregation's treasurer. I was in a car dealership with our son earlier in the month. Mounted on the wall was a poster-sized copy of a very famous magazine advertisement that first ran in 1959. Those of you of a certain age, or those of you who may be students of advertising, might have some recollection of this car advertisement's heading statement. That statement was, "Think small." The copy of the advertisement focused on the economies yielded by a small car, yes, a specific small car, the Volkswagen Beetle. Well, as you might guess, once I saw the theme for today's sermon, a theology of small things, my mind quickly went to this well-known advertisement that happened to be fresh in my mind. Now, far be it from me to suggest, in the context of the call for offering, that all of you think small. Far be it from me as treasurer to suggest that all of you think small. As I apply this Think Small tagline to the church with my treasurer's hat on, I see it meaning that none of us supports this good work, the good work of this congregation alone. Rather, through hundreds of smaller commitments, we support MDUUC together. Small works in this context. In fact, it's the only thing that works. I hope all of us will give what we can, but relative to the congregation's full operating budgets, it's many smaller gifts together that support the health of MDUUC. Please give what you are able, because together, our support is actually not small. If you are here in the sanctuary, you may place your contribution in the basket. If you are watching online, or for that matter, if you're here, you can also give at mduuc.org using the yellow Give Now button at the top of the page. The ushers will now come forward to gratefully accept your contributions. And now let us dedicate our offerings with the words on the screen. For the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. Thank you.
I know good advice when I hear it. So thank you, Chris. I haven't worn a cross in many years. It's not even that I necessarily have a problem with the symbol. I've done my deconstruction there. But from the faith that shaped me growing up, there are symbols which I find more personally resonant. I wear a mustard seed instead. I'll put a picture up so you can see it because, again, it's a mustard seed. Central to the metaphor is that it's tiny. And it has somehow migrated out of the center, and now it's sort of off-kilter within the little glass orb. I don't know how that happened. Glass flows, I guess. I inherited this little charm from my grandmother, who wore it as a bracelet. She couldn't remember where she got it, nor was she a particularly religious woman. She would go up to the Catholic Church in town between services because she didn't really care to be around other people. But she knew the parable of the mustard seed, and she explained it to me. For all I know, it might have been my first ever spiritual lesson. With what can we compare the kingdom of heaven? Or what parable will we use for it? It is like a mustard seed, which when sown upon the ground is the smallest of all the seeds on earth. Yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes the greatest of all shrubs and puts forth large branches so that the birds of the air can make nests in its shade. A good metaphor is resonant in multiple ways, and this one is no exception. A lot of rich imagery is packed into these few sentences. First of all, it places growth at the center of divine activity, not belief or perfection. This is echoed by the other parables that bracket it on either side, the parable of the sower and the parable of the yeast. Secondly, it frames this kingdom, or kingdom as it is sometimes rendered, of heaven in terms of community, specifically of creating shelter and a place of rest, somewhere to build a home. And thirdly, it suggests that small and simple things can hold power far beyond what we might imagine. I wonder what it would look like to build a world around these ideas that are so at odds with our culture, to have a world that blesses our journey, not an unachievable, static perfectionism, to say that the homemade loaf of sourdough meant to be eaten is as, if not more holy, than the pastry so immaculate you find yourself asking, is it cake? Let us embrace a theology of small and ordinary things. A mustard seed is approximately 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter. A mustard plant grows between 4 and 8 feet tall, depending on the variety, though mostly straight up. So what the parable is most likely talking about is not a true mustard at all, but rather Salvadora persica, the mustard or toothbrush tree, which is wide and low to the ground. And just in case you were wondering, yes, its seed is equally small. If you happen to read the blurb for my message today, you might have recognized the quote I put in it. We cannot all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. This quote or some variation of it, is attributed to Teresa of Calcutta, whose reputation has sadly come under some scrutiny in the last couple of decades. I won't try to adjudicate those critiques here, not because they don't matter, but because the wisdom in the sentence doesn't actually depend on the sainthood of whoever said it. Flawed people, I think, are still capable of good deeds and good ideas. And really, isn't that the shape of the parable, too? The mustard seed isn't celebrated for what it starts as, but rather for what small, faithful growing eventually becomes: shelter, shade, a place for something else to rest. Small things with great love, or small seeds sown in the hope of what they might become. I think that's really the same sentence, said twice in 2 different centuries. I wear this necklace almost every day. It keeps my grandmother's memory, both literally and metaphorically, close to my heart. Her birthday would be Tuesday, if she were still with us, and she would be 98 years old. I was lucky to have her in my life for 26 years. In the grand scheme of things, Nan would likely be thought of as an unremarkable woman. She never went to college. She never wrote a book. She never marched or protested against anything, as far as I know. She raised 2 kids. She worked sometimes. She had a temper and a peculiar habit of singing the most depressing show tunes. I cannot tell you how many times she sang me to sleep as a child to Memory from Cats or Sunrise, Sunset from Fiddler on the Roof. And I would be a fundamentally different person if not for her role in my life. Her quirks, her idiosyncrasies, and her many years of loving and raising me. So to me, she was remarkable. We live in a world that tells us to chase glory, and I appreciate Chris and their comments. You know, big gestures, big events, revolution. Some part of our culture says we should all be singing, "Do you hear the people sing?" You know, sing the song of angry men, but we're not all living in Les Miserables. Unfortunately, what we are living in is online influencer culture, which constantly is saying, make a name for yourself, build a brand, everything is content. Some people have come to call this sort of grind set mentality. Keep working, keep achieving, keep going. And maybe some of us can do some good with that. But I don't think that most people who choose that path set out on it with the good in mind, if I'm being honest. What strikes me is that influence built that way almost has to be too big to count. It needs the followers, the platform, the brand. Nobody's building a personal empire out of small things done with great love. There's no content strategy for quietly noticing someone. No algorithm that rewards you for singing your grandkids to sleep. That kind of love doesn't scale the same way. And I think that makes it more important than ever. A couple of weeks ago, when I was before you last time, I touched on this idea of how healthy religion upends that which is most harmful in culture. The last shall be first and the first last, as it is so often rendered. That's the mustard seed. That's the small things with great love. That's the alternative to the grind set. There's an early rabbinical quote that you might be familiar with. Whoever saves one life saves the world. It's part of a larger passage in the Mishnah which suggests the opposite as well. The destruction of one life destroys the world. And I got to wondering if this logic follows through in other circumstances. I think it does. Whoever nurtures one life nurtures the world. Yeah, that feels right. My grandmother, this remarkable, unremarkable woman, was a primary caretaker for me. My parents often worked weird hours, so I spent a lot of days and nights at her house. And while I may not have realized it at the time, all the while she was planting seeds of the person I would become, and am still becoming. The seeds keep growing. Despite her admittedly morose tastes, I did develop a love for musicals, and that's not the only thing I realize now that I inherited from her. Things like my love of the holidays. Every year we took a trip to this old Christmas shop that was inside a farmhouse that was a couple hundred years old back in New Hampshire. And afterwards, we would take a drive through the neighborhoods around there, looking at the lights. I still visit the Christmas Dove every year in December. I also think I got my primary love language, which is gift giving, from her. She was the kind of grandmother who always slipped you a few dollars on the way out the door and remembered the things I liked so she could buy me little toys and trinkets. She was very much the doting type. You know, none of these things were big gestures, but rather steady, small acts of time, care, and attention. They were the branches that held me, the mustard tree under which I made my nest. And as I stand here, I wonder what sort of shadow I cast. I wonder what sort of seeds I have planted here and elsewhere, especially as I prepare to move on. Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore once wrote that the one who plants trees, knowing that they will never sit in their shade, has at least started to understand the meaning of life. I think we all have to make peace with that. We don't even get to claim the impact, really. My grandmother never once said, "He loves Mary Poppins because of me," even though it's true. So here's what I leave you with, my friends. Not all seeds we plant will take root, but let us tend the soil all the same. Somewhere out there, there is a version of you who knows how many years from now, who loves a song or a tradition or has some little quirk. Somewhere there is someone who expresses love in a familiar way. And they're planting the seed that you planted in them, some for someone else, down the line. Whoever nurtures one life nurtures the world. One small but mighty act of love at a time. Thank you.
Then I have to say something after that. Inspired by the juxtaposition of spring and winter, and the famous line from T.S. Eliot's poem, East Coker, "In my end is my beginning," Natalie Sleeth wrote this hymn of promise to explore the themes of life, death, and resurrection please rise in body or spirit as we sing the first two verses of it together. In the bulb there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree, in the coons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the cold and snowy winter there's a spring that waits in green, when revealed and in this season something God alone can see. There's a song in every silence, seeking word and melody. There's a dawn in every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery. In revealed until its season, something God alone can see.
Plant good seeds, sow good soil, nurture one life, nurture the world. Go in peace, my friends.